All right, what's going on, guys? Welcome to PBHS Edge Week 12. So many good games we were going to be covering this week, and time to introduce everybody. We got Mr. Ellis, AJ, Mr. Woodward, On God, and today's special guest, Mr. Smith. So, getting right into it with the Ravens. First off, congratulations to Tyler Huntley for scoring his first career win. He had a good game, but was clutch when leading that game-winning drive that set up the touchdown run by Devontae Freeman. Even being pressured out of his mind, Tyler Huntley put a good game together in relief of Lamar Jackson with an 80.6 completion percentage. Mark Andrews being a key player in this game, racking up 10 catches for 73 yards, making pivotal first downs, and overall being a reliable target for Huntley during the game. The offensive line during the game, like I said many times on the show, it has to get better. Like AV has been playing, absolute, trash, and we just gotta lower the pressure on the quarterbacks because Tyler Huntley was sacked 6 times in that game. But defensively, I want to recognize two players, Tyus Bowser and Patrick Queen. Bowser had played a phenomenal game and had a high rating, and Patrick Queen was just a driving force, making clutch tackles in the backfield. Now, for the rest of the defense, one word to sum it up: inconsistent. We let Andy Dalton sauce us in the clutch like he's accustomed to doing, but it's fine. We still got the win, so I'm not going to complain.
And a great week, back-to-back great weeks for my Washington football team. Taylor Heineke balled out. The past 2 weeks, he's thrown, I think it's for 4 touchdowns, and he has a 127 QBR rating. Compared to his first 8 weeks, I think he had an 84.3 rating. It just shows when he gets that swagger in his step, he's a different quarterback. It's the guy we saw in the playoffs against the Bucks. It's the guy we expected to play when we signed him to that contract. And Terry McLaurin, the quarterback's dream. Who doesn't want a Terry McLaurin on their offense? I know every single team in the NFL would take a Terry McLaurin on their offense. This man turns 50-50 balls into 70-20 balls. He has more contested catches than I think 10 franchises in the NFL. And I know one of them is the Ravens. So I know Rashad definitely wants some McLaurin on his team. But another 100-yard game for him. And just the wide receivers showing up. The role players that we signed expecting nothing big from are showing up. Like Adam Humphries coming in, we need him. And DeAndre Carter, both low-key signings, being big players for us. And that defense, of course, the Panthers put up 21 points, but that defense was suffocating. We got off the field when we had to, and we played great. We shut down that homecoming of Cam Newton. He had that superhero vibe to him, but we showed who he was. He can't throw a ball. Make him throw it, he struggles, and that's what we did. We came out, did good, and I want to see this keep going forward. And yeah, just an overall great week for the Washington football team.
For Seattle, it's another day, another struggle. To add on to our struggles, it's depressing. Yeah, sometimes I just want to not be a football fan anymore. But hey, the Browns went through that for like a very, very long time. So, I think I'm just going to get the motivation from them, for a couple years back, all those, horrible seasons. But, Cole McCoy threw for 328 yards on us, man, and 2 touchdowns. I mean, looking up against this up-and-coming game, I'm very scared for this game. It's Seattle at the end of the day. We're in the rebuilding state, and it's just a game, guys. At the end of the day, it's just a game. It doesn't really matter. We're all winners, and
we know you don't mean that.
So what? We're giving out participation trophies now? Is that what's happening? We're giving out participation trophies. Okay, all right. Just so I know where we are in this. That's okay. I get it. Okay.
But that's all I gotta say.
AJ going out sad, man.
You hear the pain in the voice.
Oh my goodness. So AJ, I feel you. Your team's struggling right now. Things aren't going right. There were high expectations for your Hawks coming into the season. Same story for my Browns. We've been decimated by injuries. My quarterback is functioning on half a leg. The juice for this team. Jarvis Landry has also been hurt, and Nick Chubb wasn't able to play against Mr. Woodward's Patriots, and we paid the price for that. But
All part of the plan.
But Nick was back. Nick was back yesterday, and he made a difference. The end result was a win. It was an ugly win, but I'm an old school Browns fan, and ugly wins are what we do. It's in November and December when the wind blows off the lake and the rafters are shaking. We go and we give it to a running back, and we've always had a running back, and that's what happened yesterday. The defense was good enough with a rookie quarterback playing for the Lions, so we escaped with a win, and we're still in the hunt for the division title.
Oh, I thought that was you, Mr. Wood. Is that me? My bad. Fellas, yeah, that's exactly what happened on that last play with about 2:46 left in the game. Oh, is that you? No, that's me. No. Oh, bleep, he's gone. Yeah, well, wow, that was tough, fellas. That was a heartbreaker, I got to say. I mean, it was literally a level 5 heartache tonight. Glenn Fry, LA special right there, fellas. That was brutal. Moon shining bright. Meet him in the parking lot. I mean, it was ugly, man. I mean, just a really ugly football game in general. Our offense, deceptively came to life when we received several turnovers inside the opponent's 20-yard line. But let's be real, guys. We had 10 points going into the fourth quarter. This offense can't move the football consistently. This offensive line stinks. And coming down the stretch, though, guys, I got to say that this was our best game of the season. I know that sounds crazy to you. We had, 3 of our best players on defense out, and all of our teams can complain about injuries because none of us have been spared. Okay. But at the end of the day, that was the best fight I saw from our team all season. I like that going into these 2 division games. We're going to clean up against Cincinnati. The Escalooser is going to be fired up, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, Mr. Holly. Escalooser is going to be fired up again for the 11th time in 12 meetings there in Cincinnati. We'll be firing up the Escalooser this weekend. So despite this unfortunate loss, I really do like the momentum from the team. And once we get some guys back, I mean, this thing's wide open, guys. This division's wide open. I got news for you, Ravens fans. You guys aren't good either.
Mr. Ellis, that awkward pause we had there was probably about as long as the pause before Bill Belichick and them decided to take Mac Jones at the draft. I think that's about how long it lasted for them. So all I can say about the Patriots right now is, wow. I mean, just weeks and weeks ago, I was talking to my people, and I'm saying, hey, we're not going to make the playoffs, but at least we're going to grow. They look like they're playing better. I like the guys we got there. And now they're in first place in the AFC East again. And from this point forward, it's just nothing but, can they keep winning? Can they keep winning? Can they keep winning? Can they bring their A game every single week? And we'll see. This week will be a great opportunity to continue to prove that they are for real. They're a contender and not a pretender. So right now for the Pats, I can just say pleasantly surprised at what I'm seeing. And I love the way they're playing as a team. They're, just to make mention before we go too far here, Mr. Smith and his team, Coach Neesmith and all the other coaches, you guys, just want to congratulate you guys on a fantastic year. And when we're talking teams, right, that's a squad right there. That's a squad right there. So big shout out to you guys, Mr. Smith, and all the guys and everybody that works with you guys at the PB 300. Just great season. Great season.
Yes, sir. Well put, Mr. Ward. Shout out Mr. Smith, the entire coaching staff for putting together a great season for Paint Branch football. It was truly a great season for you guys. But covering our first game for tonight, we got the Steelers and Bengals. The Bengals are favored by 3.5, and the line is 45.5. This is another huge showdown in the AFC North, between the Steelers and Bengals. This game has huge playoff implications for both teams, and there's a lot at stake. The Steelers are coming off a crushing loss to the Los Angeles Chargers, while the Bengals are coming off a dominant showing against the Raiders. Pittsburgh had already lost to Cincy at home this season, and being at Cincy this week, it would be hard to imagine for me to think that Pittsburgh can come out with a win against this Bengals team. It's going to be an uphill fight for the Steelers team, but I think the Bengals will take it 31-17.
Comparing both these teams, the Steelers, as Mr. Ellis said, the Steelers game shouldn't have been that close. The Chargers were handing them turnovers and points. This is a team that had 10 points going into the fourth quarter. This team has nothing but Najee Harris on offense. I said last week, he's like Najee Harris and pray. That's all you got to do now. But the Bengals, they have a solid offense. T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, and Joe Mixon. He's been, in my opinion, quietly balling out. Like last year, like not last year, last week, he had a great game. And he's had other multiple amazing performances throughout the season. And he's just going to keep continuing his trend, in my opinion. He's one of the better backs in the league, like even fantasy wise. That's why I love him so much. It gets me those fantasy points. But looking at this game, it's in Cincinnati. The Steelers seem to struggle. I know Mr. Ellis is really big on them right now, but it's hard to pick with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I just don't see much happening with Roethlisberger. He seems like he's getting worse and worse every week, in my opinion. I don't like watching him. It hurts watching him. He looks like he can't throw a ball. But on the other side of the ball, you got Joe Burrow, a budding star. And I think he's just going to keep turning up with Jamar Chase. Expect a multiple touchdown game from Jamar Chase and another 100 yards from him. Give me the Bengals winning this one 31-20.
Looking at this game, you got Cincinnati, team whose offense is firing on all cylinders right now. And you got the Steelers, whose defense is not firing on all cylinders at all. You pay TJ Watt all that money. Does he really deserve it? Does he really deserve it? I know Mr. Ellis is planning to just cut me off right now, but I'm just going to interview you right now, Mr. Ellis. Does TJ Watt deserve all the money that he's getting?
We've had this conversation plenty of times. You already know my take on this. My stance is clear.
Okay, but hey,
my stance is one tackle in a playoff career. That's my stance. Next.
Okay, so then
in the words of Chrissy Hine, mystery achievements on my mind, on my mind, on my mind. See, there's another Cleveland one there for you, Mr. Smith.
So looking at this game, you got Pittsburgh that allows 22 points a game, and it's just gonna be an offensive showdown, most definitely, especially for the Bengals. So give me Cincinnati 38-7.
That's what Mr. Ellis would call BOC.
My goodness. All last year, I was telling people that you couldn't sleep on the Bengals. The idea that once Burrow got healthy again, Joe Mixon is a legitimate 3-down back. And then they went out and got Burrow's favorite receiver during his collegiate career. All the things were trending towards Cincinnati being very good. I really question, and still do, the fact that they didn't do anything to really support the offensive line, which isn't very good. They're doing things now by smoke and mirrors, and sooner or later that's going to end, but not this week. I think the Steelers have some people on their defense that are not healthy. The back end is a mess, and Burrow is the truth. So this is a division game, though, and so because it's a division game, I don't think it's going to be as high scoring as some people are suggesting. The game is still in Ohio, and the weather is still going to be bad. So I think that the Bengals win 24-14.
Well, fellas, let me give you a little history lesson here about the Pittsburgh Steelers playing in Cincinnati. Let me give you a little history lesson about the Escalooser. If you guys have ever watched a Pittsburgh Steelers Cincinnati Bengals game and you've seen the giant escalator that goes from the top of the stadium all the way to the bottom. and Paul Brown Stadium there. And I've been on the winning end of that Escalooser on more than one occasion, so I can tell you it's pretty fun to go down that Escalooser and watch those people go back to Kentucky on the Escalooser. So it's pretty fun. But that said, they're going back on that Escalooser again. We're gonna look, guys. We're getting this game. Ben's winning this football game, just like in Cleveland. Okay, Ben's winning this football game. And honestly, like you can see in Ben's eyes on the sideline there, like he's like, man, this was my game to win. My goodness, defense. But at the same time, there were injuries. Guys, look, that was the best game we played all season. I said it once, I'll say it again. And you guys didn't watch the Cincinnati game. I'm just telling you right now, you did not watch the game yesterday. You didn't watch it. I did. And I'm going to tell you right now, they were not impressive one bit. They were awful in the first half. They couldn't move the football. Joe Burrow can't push the ball down the field if it's not Jamar Chase. He can't do it. And we're going to handle him easily in this football game. Pittsburgh 27 and Cincinnati 10. It's going to be the same score it was in Pittsburgh, just in reverse, fellas, and you're going to eat it big time, boys. We're going to roll in this football game. We're going to be angry. We're coming back healthy. We got embarrassed there last year. We got embarrassed at home in a game where we handed them the football game when Ben missed Juju wide open for 2 TDs. You don't think Ben's angry for this football game? We're going to dominate this football game, ladies and gentlemen. 27-10 Pittsburgh. Eat it, boys.
That is a tough act to follow. So I'm with Mr. Ellis in this one. I rewatched the Steeler highlights from last night, and I know there's some serious lowlights there at the end. But the thing that killed them yesterday was, well, obviously Austin Eckler, 4 touchdowns, but 93 rushing yards for Justin Herbert, who, by the way, he takes off through a hole and he's gone. He takes up 6'6". He's quick and he takes up 5 yards every darn stride he does. And Joe
he has
Burrow,
9 yards rushing. If Minka Fitzpatrick plays, he has 9 yards rushing.
And that's, well, sure, absolutely.
9 times. That's it.
But so the point I have is, if they're in that same defense, that's not going to be Joe Burrow. He's not going to be able to get through there and go off like that. He's just not going to do that. That's not his game. He's still, I don't think, probably takes longer than a year to come back from that injury in terms of being able to run or cut or do anything like that. So for me, when I looked at that, I feel like that was the best I've seen the Steelers play on many fronts. Now, getting behind by that many points is not the way you want to do it. You don't want to come back. You can't have Ben 4th and 29. I mean, he can't even throw the ball 29 yards. So, I mean, watching him try to do that was terrible, but he actually had a couple, and I use the term loosely, touch throws, great catches in the end zone by his guys. But, he played well to me, and he certainly better than Mason Rudolph ever did anything for them. And when he plays, they feel like they can win. And I feel like they haven't lost, Mr. Ellis, I'm sure you know this fact, to the Bengals twice in one season since 2009. And I would have thought it was before that. I would have said Kenny Anderson was the last one to beat him twice.
Well, remember Troy got hurt in the first Cincinnati game in 2009, didn't play again the rest of the season. So
they lost for that reason. So 2 for that reason. But I'm with Mr. Ellis in this one. I don't see the number being quite that big of a gap between, because I do think the Bengals have something to prove too. They need a big win themselves. They got to keep it rolling. But for me, I like the Steelers going into Cincinnati. I like them taking this one in a tight one, 23-20.
Yeah, can we just take a moment to appreciate Mr. Ellis's enthusiasm about the Pittsburgh Steelers? Like, that's commitment right there. Like, I gotta respect it. Even though I hate the Steelers with all my guts, I gotta respect that from Mr. Ellis. Like that's
guys,
that's
we're going
dedication.
into Cincinnati. We're not going into New England against Tom Brady in 2004. We're going into Cincinnati.
We'll
against
see.
a team that is an average football team that played horrifically in the first half yesterday and did a good job of capitalizing on mistakes in the second half. They're going to get dominated.
We'll see. We'll see. But for the next game of the week, we got the Titans versus Mr. Woodward's Patriots. Patriots are favored by 5.5, and the line is 44.5. The Patriots have been on fire these past 5 games, riding a 5-game win streak. They're slated to play Tennessee in what would be like a classic game, one would imagine. Tennessee dropped their second game to this one of the worst teams in the AFC, while the Pats are cruising through their schedule. The Pats defense has been absolutely balling out. Matt Judon, J.C. Jackson, Devin McCourty, they've all just been playing so good. And I don't think they have to worry about the threat of Derrick Henry and Julio Jones anymore. And I'm pretty sure they can keep A.J. Brown at bay with these corners playing at such a high level. I see Coach Belichick not letting one of his former players, Mike Rabel, beat him again. Give me the Pats 34-21.
If we're being honest, Julio Jones hasn't had the impact we thought he would this season. And with Derrick Henry's injury out, the Titans just seem like they can't run the ball. They have AP all day there. I respect him for what he did with our franchise, but he's just not good right now. He's old. He can't push this. He can't push the ball like Derrick Henry did. They can't rely on their run game, and their passing game is just not good. AJ Brown is a good player, but JC Jackson is going to shut him down. I have full confidence in him shutting him down. And Matt Judon's playing amazing, as Rashad said. The Patriots are just they keep getting better and better. Like you'd expect growing pains, but they're just growing. They're just getting better and better. And Mac Jones is showing to be that Belichick QB that we thought he would be, just coming in, executing. And he's already talking like a Belichick QB. Last week he was talking about how he's just gonna focus on to the next game, and like if he calls audibles or not, he's not giving out any information, top secret. Just he's baby Tom Brady at this point. Just no information. Just Stone Cold football, just there for wins. That's all he does. That man's a machine.
Got that Dunkin' Donuts Kool-Aid out there. Just grab him a donkey.
But the Titans are turning down after a stunning loss to the Texans. Tyrod Taylor is running on them like prime Lamar Jackson, which was hilarious to watch. Tyrod Taylor was cooking them, and I think that's not like that trend's going to continue. Mac Jones is going to have himself a day. Give me the Patriots winning this one, 21-7.
Looking at this game, Tennessee lost to a knockoff Michael Vick. Someone who thinks they're Michael Vick, someone who attempts to be Michael Vick, someone who played for the Bills, who even copied his face mask, unbuckling the helmet. No, you can't be Tennessee and just lose a game like that, whether Derrick Henry's in or out. You just can't drop games like that. But looking at this game, it's most definitely going to be a breeze for the Patriots. We've got a hot Patriots team right now, leading their division. And I hope none of us pick Tennessee to win this game. I really hope none of us pick Tennessee to win this game. Obviously, give me the Patriots 31-17.
So the trademark of a Belichick defense is that he wants to take away something from your offense and then turn you into a one-dimensional entity and dare you to beat him that manner. Now, under normal circumstances, that would be that you would take away from Tennessee their ability to run the ball. Unfortunately, they don't have that ability at the moment. So they really are already a one-dimensional team. And what he's going to do is he's going to try to make Ryan Tannehill beat his defense. I don't see that. I don't see that happening at all. Now Tannehill's going to put up a good fight. He's going to put up a good fight. He's going to wing it the best he can. He's going to try to run the ball himself. If he survives this game, I will be shocked. This squad blew out my team a couple of weeks ago, and I see that as what's going to happen to Tennessee. 40-10 Patriots.
Gotta be straight with you, fellas, though. I will say this. I think Vrabel's in Bill's head a little bit. I do. And I think that playoff game is still there. And I think Vrabel, this is such a weird scene. We're talking about mystery achievement. I keep saying that over and over again tonight. But you look at Tennessee and they've beaten the best and lost the worst. Well, I'm going to bet they beat the best again. I just feel like Vrabel's got it in him. They'll find a way to win this game. There's no way Bill is going to allow this team to win like 12, 13 straight games. I mean, they're going to beef one. Bill keeps it interesting. They're going to lose a game or two here. They're going to drop one. They're due to drop one. In fact, I picked them to lose to Atlanta last week. I wasn't on the show, of course, due to concussion protocol, but I'll say that part of concussion protocol might have been me picking the Falcons. But nonetheless, I did pick the Falcons 16-14 last week to win. I thought
That's how we
that
knew you were concussed.
I thought that, yeah, well,
You were concussed.
I may still be with the picks I've had so far this evening, but I'm going to go one more. As Les Claypool said, I'm going to give you one better here, and I'm going to go 33-26. I got Tennessee putting up some points on New England too, because Vrabel will find a way to expose. He'll open it up. He'll open it up a little bit, and I think New England's been lucky. They've been shielded here against some of the opponents they played recently, and I also think that when they played Cleveland, it was not the same Cleveland. You didn't have a quarterback. I mean, come on, So, look, Patriots are doing amazing, but
But see,
are they
that's
the
why
team to beat right now? I still don't believe they are. I don't.
that's why I say the same thing is happening, because Tennessee doesn't have their engine. That they're not going to have Henry like we didn't have Chubb, and it makes a difference.
Definitely.
I believe the phrase is you play the games on your schedule, right? And that's
Yep.
that's what we'll do each week. And I clearly have had a drink of the Dunkin' Kool-Aid as well.
You guys just have the catchphrase. I mean, just everything. It's just disgusting. Just it's repulsive.
As the Panthers, as the Paint Branch Panthers said all year, they're on the schedule, so therefore they must die.
So, again, I said wow to begin with because I am. I'm thrilled with where they are. I've told you guys all season long that this is what it was like to be a Pats fan before the whole Patriot Nation, all that stuff came along, before they built Patriot Place. And, you didn't just go to football games there anymore and freeze your butt off. But it's surprising to me because this is what it was like. I mean, it was a team. When the Patriots first started winning championships, and I know that's obnoxious, but it is what it is. When they started winning championships, they won with defense. And I said last week, Brady wasn't a game manager. I mean, but he was a second-year player, and he was learning the offense, and he played within the offense, and they had great offensive and defensive coaches because Belichick had great guys. And it just came together, but they won on defense. The guys, Richard Seymour, Teddy Bruschi, Ty Law, I mean, these guys were fantastic, and so this year, right, I've said thank you to Rashad all year long for Matthew Judon. I don't know if he was with the front office on that, but the guy, he didn't even know. I mean, sure, maybe he played it up, but he didn't even know he had set a career high in sacks last week. And even if he did know, he drank the Kool-Aid. He got a Dunkin' Donuts, coffee, and a Krella, and he said, "Oh, did I?" So, I'm not foolish enough.
Well, when I want to do a Clark Griswold in the middle of that business meeting, response when I walk by you next.
So, I got the smuggler's blues in this one here because I am a little bit nervous that Tennessee's going to come in. And they're right. Mr. Smith's right. Derrick Henry's out. And Derrick Henry, he was right there for MVP because he truly is that valuable, because he allows Ryan Tannehill to be a very good quarterback who can make throws, who can make plays with his legs. And Mike Vrabel is in Bill Belichick's head. He's got him. He's got him twice already. And so it is a scary game. Now, that being said, because Derrick Henry's not playing, because of the way the Patriots played in that second half against Atlanta, because even when they made mistakes, you could see the coaching on the sideline. Mac Jones stands over next to his coaches, talks to his coaches the entire time. I feel like he's learning every single game, and there will be mistakes, but I'm going to continue with it until they prove me otherwise. And for this one, I'm going to take the Pats 31-23.
You were most definitely welcome for Matthew Judon. I'm actually happy to see him balling out in New England. It truly puts a smile on my face.
Great player, great guy.
You definitely do not believe that, Rashad.
Anyways, getting to our next game of the week.
Just like I love seeing Johnny Damon go to the New York Yankees. It was awesome.
Just like I love seeing Mike Vrabel go to the Patriots and win multiple Super Bowls and beat us twice at the AFC Championship game, which I was in attendance at. Yeah, I loved it. It was great to watch that.
Great set of hands. Touchdown in the Super Bowl. Woo.
Oh my goodness. Okay, getting into our next game, we got the Browns. I'm sorry. the Browns versus the Ravens, right? So the Ravens are favored by 4, and the line is 46. Sitting atop the AFC North, Lamar Jackson and the Ravens welcome Baker Mayfield and the Browns to Baltimore in the first meeting of the season. The last time we saw these two teams duel it out, it was on a Monday night shootout in which my opinion was game of the year. The Ravens came out victorious thanks to Lamar Jackson's heroics coming out of the locker room and just throwing an absolute dot to Hollywood Brown on a 4th and 2. But both of these teams are coming out victories, but very close games that were played. If the Browns want to be successful in this game, they need to take advantage of the Ravens' pass secondary, as it's been inconsistent the whole season. And I think they should start to have a good mix on the ground, as well as Chubb and that Chubb and Hunt duo having a possibility to return. For the Ravens, I can only say one thing: get to a fast start, because these slow starts, for these past weeks, have been killing us. I don't want games coming down to the crunch time where it's fourth quarter, it's do or die, leading like a game-winning drive. I mean, get Lamar hot at the start, try to establish the run, do what we do best. And if they can establish the run well, they can open up the passing game with Rashad Bateman becoming a major X factor, and Andrews coming off a strong game. Defensively, the Ravens have to limit Chubb and Hunt and force Baker to pass with him being extremely banged up. Giving the Ravens 30-21.
As Rashad said, these slow starts are killing the Ravens. They're winning games by the skin of their teeth against teams that you think they'd blow out. Like even with Tyron Huntley in, you'd expect them to have an easy game against the Bears, but they struggled. I thought they were going to lose that game. There's been multiple times this season where I thought they were just going to flat out lose a game to a team they should have beaten easily. But on the other side of the ball, we got the Browns. Hopefully, Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb are able to come back healthy. If they're back healthy, that's going to make the game easier for Baker Mayfield. Rashad noted the Ravens have one of the worst pass defenses in the league, and hopefully Jarvis Landry is healthy for this game. But an X factor for this game is Donovan Peoples-Jones. He's been balling out low key. He's been a good target replacing OBJ on this offense. He's been balling out, and I think he's becoming one of Baker Mayfield's most favorable targets. And if he continues to play that way, I think he can, take advantage of this week Ravens passing defense and have a good week for himself. But it also, in my opinion, depends on if Lamar's playing. Lamar is just the X factor the Ravens need. It gets to a point where if they're playing anyone that's below good, Lamar's going to will them to a win. And I don't think the Browns are in that upper echelon of teams that are good that can beat the Ravens no matter how Lamar plays. So if Lamar's healthy for once, not for once, but if he's not sick again, because apparently he's always sick, I don't know how or why he's always sick, but if he's healthy, give me the Ravens winning this game 31-20.
Man is probably like one of the best people I've ever seen play in my life, but he has to have the worst immune system I've ever seen in a
That man
person.
catches a stomach flu like every 2 weeks.
That's what I'm saying, man. It's a McDonald's that he's posting on his Instagram story every damn week. But it's fine. I'm not gonna say anything.
Looking at this game, you got a strong Ravens team, and then you have a okay Browns team. I think I might need to say it a couple more times so Coach Smith could hear me. So, okay Browns team, okay Browns team, okay Browns team, okay Browns team. But you look at this game, Peoples-Jones, he's great for the Browns. Even Nick Chubb, also good. It's going to be a good game, but I just don't feel that the Browns are going to show me enough that they could really challenge the Ravens or even scare the Ravens. But yeah, they do get off on these slow starts. But if the Browns want to win this game, they're definitely going to have to take advantage of the Ravens' slow starts in the beginning of these games. They're going to have to get to moving the ball down the field. It's a heavy run offense. They're going to be having to run the ball. Their O line's gonna have to, open up some good holes, good spaces for them to run through, and take advantage of. But I'm still gonna take the Ravens in this one. Give me the Ravens 24-21 in a tight game.
So Rashad mentioned the Monday night thriller, and the only thing I'm gonna dispute him about, it wasn't about Lamar, it was about our defensive coordinator Joe Woods calling a fire zone blitz, having a defensive end drop into pass coverage in a circumstance where there are stacked receivers running a very elementary rub route. And if there's a corner and a safety out there, they know how to sift that, how to exchange that. But the defensive end knocked the cornerback off the route, leaving Hollywood butt naked wide open for the touchdown. So the moral of the story to me is if Joe Woods doesn't try to get cute, we win the game. Now let's talk about Sunday. Baker is beat up. He has admitted that he is as beat up as he's ever been in his entire football career. He came off of a very bad performance for him on Sunday against Detroit, and a mad Baker is a good Baker. And so the thing that I like about Mayfield is that he has a constant chip on his shoulder. I mean, let's recall that he has never really been wanted any place other than Cleveland. You know, he walked on to two Division I programs and earned scholarships and won a Heisman Trophy. He's a special person that can will his team to do something. Nick Chubb's back. Kareem Hunt's going to be there. We get back our right tackle. The offensive line is one of the best in the NFL. And on top of it all, this is the make or break portion of the season for my Brownies. The only path to the playoffs now is to win the division, and that means that they have to go through Baltimore, they have to go through Pittsburgh, and they have to take care of the Bengals when the Bengals come to Cleveland. With all of that said, there's absolutely no way that I will ever pick against my Browns. I don't care who they play. It's going to be a tight one. And I think it's going to be another high scoring affair. I think it's going to be another one. So I'm going Cleveland Browns 38 and the Birds That Eat Roadkill 35.
Look, guys, the Ravens aren't that good. I'm just going to say that straight up. I mean, let's just start with that, right? They stink. Their defense is horrible, right? Their offense has two pretty good playmakers, but you got to be on the field to be a great playmaker. I look at this team and I think that Cleveland is healthier now, right? Their offensive line is healthier than it was against us. If I had to pick the Steelers-Browns game from a few weeks ago, I would have picked differently this weekend, knowing that Cleveland's coming back with a little more arsenal in terms of offensive and defensive line health. Baltimore's offensive line is horrendous. And fellas, I'm telling you, you really wish that I had accidentally tripped when I was washing my hands at Secrets in Ocean City this summer when I was right behind Alejandro Villanueva. You really wish that I tripped and fell on him and took out his knee, because let me tell you right now, this fella is awful. And he gave up 5 pressures yesterday, 2 sacks. He was complaining to the ref more than he was actually contacting the opposing player. And I know what Myles Garrett did in the playoff game against him with Pittsburgh, and I know what he's got. I mean, Myles Garrett is literally smelling like the most delicious filet that you've ever smelled in your life. And it's on Alejandro Villanueva, big house, side of the field, baby. A beautiful Buford steak just sitting there waiting. Or maybe it's like from Cleveland Melt, like the grilled cheese with like a huge filet mignon in the middle. Like, ooh, it's big. I like Cleveland to win this game handily. 30-17. I think the Ravens stink.
The beautiful thing about going last is you have all these wonderful things to take in. So the first thing I can think of is, will that steak be served on a Frisbee, Mr. Ellis? Because that's how they roll at Secrets, baby. And for Mr. Smith, I am with you. As far as I'm concerned, it's 17-0 for Patriots choices for me. I go with the Oklahoma all the way. I don't care who they're playing, because I'm with you. I got you in that. But I do agree with you this week and Mr. Ellis, because, Baker Mayfield, you're right. his story is amazing. Just watching it, and you're right. I do think he plays with a chip on his shoulder, and that's part of the reason he's injured, is because he is not unlike somebody we'll talk about shortly. He's better, obviously, to me, as Taylor Heineke, who you leave it all out there. He leaves everything he's got out there, and he's not the biggest guy. And, he takes a lot of hits, takes a lot of abuse. And I think part of it is because he stays in there, he sticks his nose into things. So for this week, I do think it's important that Lamar be there, because that's going to make it a much better football game. If he's not, I don't see the Ravens taking this. It's not the same situation as they're facing this week. So he's obviously the most important guy on their team. And I think Nick Chubb, as I already mentioned before, and we talked about, he's huge. And him being able to move the chains, big chunk yardage, Kareem Hunt, maybe combined with him this week and move the ball. I think that the Browns, you guys have said, pretty much everything. I think the Browns in this one look as good as a Baker Mayfield progressive commercial. So I'll go with the Browns 20 and the Ravens, or as you called them, the birds that eat roadkill, 17.
That's an interesting one. I never heard the birds that eat roadkill. That's a new one. That's a new one. I've heard rat birds, and now I heard that.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
no, birds that eat roadkill, that's my trademark.
Oh, that's your trademark. That's the.
I have a hashtag for that one.
Oh, okay. So it's the Mr. Smith special. I got you. I got you. Okay, for the next game of the week, we got AJ Seahawks showing off against Ungod's Washington football team. Washington is favored by 1, and the line is 47. Monday night game in Washington as they take on Seattle. Ron Rivera and his crew are coming off a homecoming victory in Carolina, and the Seahawks lost to a Cardinals team without their starting QB and wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins. It'll be an uphill battle for both teams, but I gotta ride the hot hand here. Washington has been playing well for these past 2 weeks and will most certainly apply pressure on the Seahawks team, giving the Washington football team 27-23.
I wouldn't say it's uphill battle for us. All the issues have been piling up, and I feel like we're at the point is downhill. We guys go full momentum. We have 2 wins. Just keep burning through our schedule. This time, right time to get hot. We play 2 weak teams, in my opinion, Seahawks, Raiders, and then we're right into the worst part of the season, in my opinion, 5 straight divisional games. But looking at last week, Taylor Heineke was balling. Like 3 touchdowns, amazing throws, all 3 crazy. And I'm not sure if you guys saw it, but he went for a scramble and he got completely decked on his slide. And he got up and was about to fight the guy. That's the fight Mr. Woodward was saying. He just gets up and has that fight. It's because he's an engineer. Shout out my fellow engineer. But he's got that fight in him. He just never gives up. He knows no one expected this from him. That's what he's reveling in. Like, no one thought he'd be here. I didn't even think he'd be here. I was hoping Fitzpatrick would be back by now. Fitzpatrick, I was hating on Heineke like 2-3 weeks ago. I thought he was struggling, but when he has that confidence and the swagger in his step, him and McLaurin have a special connection. It's going to keep getting better and better. And this defense finally stepping up to the way we thought they would. Who would have thought you lose Montez Sweat and you lose Chase Young? And that's when you start playing your best football. That's when you start playing inspired football. Mr. Woodward thinks that. I think it's because our Alabama boys in the middle were like, we have to show the nation we were the ones that started this trend on this defense. We're the ones who started this formidable defensive line. And on the other side, AJ's Seahawks, 3 straight losses. I don't know what's going on. I thought Wilson would be the remedy to your issues. It's not looking good for you guys.
Easy. Let's
4 in a row, 4 L's in a row for you, AJ. Give
Easy.
me the Washington football team winning this one, 28-20.
Like I said before, when I was speaking, it's just a game, man. It is just a game. It doesn't matter. All right. It is just a game and only a game. It's not that deep. We don't need to be that serious. Okay. It is just a game. And to Mr. Smith, am I handing out participation awards? Yes. You get a cookie. You get a cookie. You get a cookie. And you get a cookie. You all get cookies because it is just a game. It does not matter. It is not that deep. If we lose, we lose. It doesn't matter. But, Washington's hot, man. Coming off of two big wins. Last week against Tom Brady. Not last week. Beating Tom Brady and beating Cam Newton. 2 teams that were coming in hot. They were expected to, this is going to be a blowout. When everyone was focusing on Cam Newton, oh my goodness, this is a return, this, that, and the other, and Washington just is the extinguisher to his fire. That's what I needed to see because I cannot stand Cam Newton. I cannot stand Cam Newton. I expected Cam Newton to be Cam Newton at the end of the day. Cam Newton will always be Cam Newton. I want you to quote this. Cam Newton will always be Cam Newton at the end of the day. And, you know, AJ will always say that football is just a game and it's not that deep. You know, whether we're winning or we're losing, you know, does my attitude ever change if like we're undefeated? Do I talk a lot of trash? Maybe. And if I lose, do I say it's just a game? Maybe. But as for my prediction, give me Washington 21-7.
AJ. I'm so disappointed. I'm so disappointed. Man, football is life. It's not just a game. Are you kidding me, son? No, look. I don't know what to do about this game, honestly. Because you have two teams that are trending in opposite directions. There is clearly some real turmoil going on in Seattle. And you know that is showing on the field. Now, on the other hand, the Washington football team, they've got some issues that not a whole lot of people know about. For example, last Friday night, Chase Young was in Brooklyn at a party instead of, you know, getting prepared for the game on Sunday. You know, that's not good. That's not good. So, but they tell me that the most important position in football is the quarterback position. And if we're looking at it that way, then we have Russell Wilson on one hand and the Heineken man on the other hand. Now, I love Heineke's moxie. I love his grit. Nobody expected him to do anything. He came from one of those crazy spring leagues, right? So you got to love that kind of guy. But the pedigree of Russell Wilson will come through. It's going to be a sloppy game. 21-17 Seattle.
Wait, could you just say that again just one more time so I can hear it?
21-17 Seattle.
Okay, that's all I wanted to hear.
Boy, a lot of nightmares in Raljan, Maryland over the years when Seattle comes to town. We don't know what that's like in Pittsburgh or Baltimore, but apparently in Raljan, they have a lot of problems when Seattle comes to town. But with that said, not this time, I don't think. This Seahawks team stinks. I'm sorry, they stink. And as good as Russ is, and as good as he'll be for the Pittsburgh Steelers next year, I hope. I really hope. Whatever it takes, guys. 220, 221 is with all Mr. Mobcourse.
Whatever it takes.
Yeah, whatever it takes. What TJ Watt? Have him. Keep him. But no, seriously, guys, I think Washington gets this done. I mean, they're figuring it out on the lines. And I think for most of the season, that was a struggle for them. But I think the last couple of games I've noticed they've been able to control the line of scrimmage. Even against Green Bay to an extent, they did late in that game and made it not a complete blowout. So to me, I think for a couple weeks now, they've been working on this formula. And it's not beautiful, it's not perfect, but I think it'll be enough against the Seattle team. It's a shadow of its former self.
You know, I don't know how the Seattle players are living with themselves right now. They did the impossible. They made Pete Carroll unhappy. You know, Pete Carroll, the man is never down. And he walked out of a press conference the other day. Just never happens. That does not bode well. Now, maybe they rally. Mr. Smith's right. They got Russell Wilson, and he's elite. Always the right decision. But I don't like the way they're playing. You know, we talked about them early in the season, and we thought, yeah, you know what? They got some guys on defense. They got this, they got that, and they just have not been able to keep it together. And I know Russ got injured, and Geno Smith came in and he kept them close a few times, but I don't like where they're going. The Taylor Heineke train is back. It goes down. It's back on the tracks because he will just keep coming. He'll show up at the facility and at the field until they drag him away. They'll take his key away. He'll climb through the gate. The dude is the Sandlot. Like, he just wants to play, and he plays harder than anyone in the league. So I love that, man. I watched last weekend and just some plays that he made. He just never gave up on it. And I watched him. He got twisted backward. I thought his leg was going to pop off there in the fourth quarter. And
I thought his back was gone.
I hurt from that thing. And, so I just love the way he plays. Now, again, he plays with his hair on fire. There's a lot of guys in the league that play that way. He's got Terry McLaurin that he can get it to. He's got some other guys that have been making plays for him. So it is interesting. I think, Angad, you brought it up, the defense has been better since the star defensive ends have been out, because they're finally doing, the guys are doing, as I mentioned originally, when we started talking about the elite defense, they just need to do their job. And when they got those big stars on the outside, everybody's watching them. And I'm not saying that the interior guys are not doing what they're supposed to do, but those guys they're not playing as a unit to me. And so I think with those guys gone, they are. And that's why those guys are getting the pressure up the middle and they're making great plays. And, an unhappy Pete Carroll, that's a long flight. I don't even know who drew the short straw. I had to sit next to him on the flight. It's going to be a long one. So for me, I'm going to go with this one. I'm going to take it, the football team 30, the Hawks 13.
Yeah, man. Like Mr. Woodward said, I think Washington has always needed a quarterback who's got that drive and who's always hungry to he wants more. He always wants more, and he always just wants to win. He has that drive to win.
We had that.
On a BOC in the Rousey. Wow, that's impressive. Jeez.
Okay, for the next game of the week, we got the Bills versus Saints. The Bills are favored by 4.5, and the line is 46.5. Both teams just came off crushing losses. The Bills just got absolutely manhandled by Jonathan Taylor, who put up 5 total touchdowns and solidified my L in fantasy this week. But I don't know what to say to that. Saints are coming off their 3rd loss in a row, having their playoff chances extremely hurt. The Bills overall struggled in what a Colts defense has that played really good against them, and it's been led by Darius Leonard. But I do think the Bills will have a comeback game against the Saints team, and what is a must-win for each team. But I think the Bills are going to best the Saints here, 24-21.
Both of these teams started off the season hot, and now it's like going off the rails. Like, for the Saints, it's understandable. You lose Jameis Winston. He's the only real quarterback you have on your roster. Trevor Siemian isn't good. Taysom Hill should never be put under center consistently in a game. That man should not be allowed to throw a ball. But for the Bills, I don't know what is happening. Mr. Ellis probably does. He called this back in week 3, week 4, that they're going to blow up, and they are blowing up. Because I don't know how you bounce back from that, letting a running back score 5 touchdowns on you, and then 2 weeks ago losing to the worst team in the league, getting absolutely shut down by them. I don't like. This is just bad versus bad, and this is going to be a game of who makes less mistakes, in my opinion. The Saints, I feel like they're the ones at the disadvantage because Trevor Siemian as your quarterback, you can't ever go into a game confident like that. And Josh Allen, I think he's licking his lips looking at this game. It should be an easy game. His defense should give him multiple chances with Trevor Siemian making mistakes. Hopefully he does take advantage of these new multiple chances he gets and give me the Bills winning this game. Their offense won't come back to life. I think they'll still make mistakes. So let's make it 28-17 Bills.
Maybe Mr. Ellis is right about Josh Allen. Maybe that nickname Trash Allen, I might have to start considering adding it to my vocab.
And there's the stay one for me.
Looking at this game, you got Bills Saints, you got Trevor Siemian and Josh Allen. It's just gonna be who's gonna come out on top, man. Who's gonna surprise us? Who's gonna put their foot on their neck first, man. That's the kind of vibe I'm getting whenever I see this game. I mean, Josh Allen, I think we were definitely overhyping him when we in the beginning of the year. And I think we all thought that Mr. Ellis was crazy with how much he really just downed Josh Allen. But now I'm starting to believe it. I'm starting to believe it. I really am. So Josh Allen, you just got to show me something, man. But I mean, it's the Saints. This is a must win for the Bills. A must win for the Bills. It's gonna be a scrappy fight. Give me the Bills 13-16.
Josh Allen is who we thought he was. I want to repeat that. Josh Allen is who we thought he was. He was inaccurate coming out of college. He is a really a one-dimensional quarterback. He has a cannon for an arm. I mean, the boy can throw the ball from here to the moon. There's no question about that. But he can't hit anything there. So that's a problem. The Bills' offense is absolutely one-dimensional, and their OC isn't helping them with any of that because everything is designed, it seems, to run Allen as if he's a running back. I know he's a big boy, but he's not like Lamar in that you never see Lamar take a big hit. Never. Pisses me off. Never takes a big hit. Josh Allen, on the other hand, he thinks he's been reincarnated, and so he'll try to extend the run. I'm an old guard, old school football guy, and so any team that has a Camara on it is always dangerous, and I think that Kamara is going to start taking the reins of this team and willing them to win as well. And I don't think enough credit is given to Sean Payton. He's still a brilliant coach, and coaching matters in this league. So the problem is, of course, is that the Bills defense is the number one defense, scoring defense, and the Saints are something like 24th in scoring offense. So you have that mismatch, but it's in New Orleans. Buffalo's going to go to New Orleans and not know how to act. That's what happens to all teams when they go there. So it's going to be New Orleans in a squeaker, winning it on a last-second field goal, 20-17.
Got a pretty similar story on this end. Buffalo, okay, they have a weak offensive line. It's soft, it's small, it's not really that physical. They can't run the football, right? So if Trash isn't, getting 20 years to throw, if his first read isn't wide open, as we say in the Catholic culture here, because the Midwest is all connected here up and down the coast. There's a lot of hate for Trash Allen in Pittsburgh, lots of it, right? Because they think like he's their Roethlisberger, which is hilarious because he has how many playoff wins? Yeah. So, yeah. Well, and if you're the Ravens, you're like, that was worse than Tebow losing to him. I mean, it really was. But, at the end of the day, this is a game in New Orleans. I'm taking Sean Payton. I'm agreeing a short week. I'm taking Sean Payton in this game. And the Bills' offense, they can't run the football. Defensively, they can't stop the run. And I don't care about this garbage scoring defense stat. Drew Brees has a gajillion, all-time yards in one Super Bowl and a 500 playoff record, okay? At the end of the day, stats are what they are, not much. The only stat that matters is a ring, and no Bill is never, ever, ever sniffing it, buddy. I got 17-16 Trash on the short end again.
So, while Mr. Ellis was in concussion protocol last week, we had a short discussion.
Still probably is.
We had a short discussion, and the four of us are wondering, I'm going to use my time here for this answer to this question. Is there a quarterback in NFL history that is not junk, according to Mr. Ellis? Who fits the bill?
Plenty,
Who fits
but
the
I'll
bill,
say
Mr.
this.
Ellis?
plenty, but
not
I'll
his
say this,
in
and I
that
rip
in the league
everybody,
right
but
now.
I did not rip Herbert ever. And all I said was Herbert got exposed in that game against the Ravens, but I never said he was a bad quarterback. I never said he wasn't good. I never said he was overrated. And you go back and watch it again. Fellas, I never said any of that. In fact, I predicted us to lose the game, if you remember. So
I'm in perpetual concussion protocol, so I can't remember anything past the pick I made a few minutes ago. The discussion is Mr. Ellis is tough on quarterbacks. He expects high level play, Bubby Brister-esque action. And,
Kent Graham, actually. Kent Graham.
and so, we're naming names that these poor youngins have no idea who we're talking about. But it's old school football, and it was ugly, and it was beautiful, and it hurt a lot because they had no good fields. But briefly in this one, I'll say, Josh Allen is taking a beating here, but I'll take Josh Allen over Trevor Siemian. And I agree with Mr. Smith. It is tough to go into New Orleans. I think teams don't know what to do with themselves. They fly in, and something about it just changes it. But the Bills need this one badly. I mean, they are in second place right now. They've got a big matchup with the Pats looming. And, I'm hoping the Patriots aren't looking ahead, but I don't think they ever will because it's the Titans and it's Mike Vrabel. And for the Bills, I'm not so sure, but they really need a win. And so I just don't love Trevor Siemian. And I agree getting the ball to Alvin Kamara would be brilliant because the guy's a beast. But I just don't think that they're doing enough to get the ball to him. And maybe Sean Payton will make it a point to get the ball to him because they need that. But both of these teams need a win. They have one win between them in the last 3 weeks. And so for me, it's really kind of a toss-up. And I'll go with the team, I think, to Mr. Smith's point from earlier with Russell Wilson and Taylor Heineke, though I went with the football team. I'll go with Josh Allen over Trevor Siemian in this one, thinking he maybe will be able to make a throw that they need, or he'll make a first down run that they need. And I think the Bills will take this one 23-20 in not a pretty game.
Well, they always say, like I said, the Catholic lore, if it ain't Diggs, those Buffalo fans are waking up to extra pigs and rigs, meaning rigatonis and, whatever halupkis they've got on their plates up in Buffalo. That's what we always say in Pittsburgh. If it ain't Diggs, they're eating pigs and rigs the next morning, nice and cold. So I got cold pigs and rigs again this weekend for the not so buffs.
Pick that up at Pamanti Brothers on your way home. The worst sandwich shop in Pittsburgh.
Those Bills fans. I mean, nobody has a higher SAT score than the Bills fans combined. I'll tell you.
Jeez. And for our final game of the week, we have the Rams versus Packers. The Packers are favored by 1. The line is 48. Sorry. Looking at this game, it's going to be really interesting to see how both teams come out at the start of the game. With both teams dropping their last games, Green Bay losing to Minnesota and LA losing to 49ers. This game could be the deciding factor for the number 1 seed in the NFC, as both teams are primed to make deep playoff runs. Lambeau Field has to get loud for this one if the Packers want to have the best shot at winning this game. I preach it every time on the show. Home field advantage always has to come through. And I feel like this game will be a shootout, but I think the Packers will win it narrowly by a field goal. Give me the Packers 34-31.
I honestly think this is a preview of the NFC Championship. Because that's going to change in a second. Mr. Ellis always says that once the weather starts getting cold, that's when Matt Stafford starts playing horribly. And a game in Lambeau Field where it's probably going to be snowing, it's probably going to be under 20 degrees, it's going to be freezing. That's perfect weather for Aaron Rodgers, and that is horrible weather for Matt Stafford. And he's gonna struggle with that. This offense, we thought they would be on fire. They struggled to come out, and it's not looking great for the Rams right now. Like, they have a lot of talent, but they also have a lot of issues, and it seems like they're struggling to. It's like patchwork. They have a problem, they throw a star player at it, hope it works, and it doesn't work like that in the league. Like, this isn't Madden. This isn't a game. You just get a high overall player and it fixes everything. It's not like that. It goes all the way up to the coaches, to the players, and the Rams. I feel like Sean McVay is kind of struggling to understand that. But for the Packers, they lost to the Vikings in the last second field goal. That's like an alternate dimension type of game. The Vikings winning on a clutch field goal against the Packers of all people, that never happens. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers is going to be a bit mad about that. He had a great game. So did Devontae Adams. they're going to come into this game wanting a win in Lambeau. Give me the Packers winning this one pretty handily, 28-10.
Looking at this game, I definitely feel when we were younger sports fans, for any sport, a team would get all-star player added to their team, we automatically think championship contenders. Oh my gosh, they're gonna win the Lombardi, or oh my gosh, they're gonna win the NBA Finals, or oh my gosh, they're gonna win. They're just gonna take it all. Or then you see the Rams who add Von Miller and Odell Beckham, and they drop their last 2 games, 2 in blowouts, in my opinion, blowout games. 2 games that if you added players such as Von Miller and Odell Beckham Jr., that should have been an easy game for you. But, we're not young football fans anymore. We can actually, see, hey, they're going to have to get used to a new system, an entirely new system, playing an entirely new stadium, new coaching staff, new teammates. It's not just you're not just gonna just click like that. No matter how many Instagram posts or how many posts they may post or whatever they say in whatever interview, oh man, we got a great team. Chemistry is amazing. This is a must win. Not even a must win. If the Rams do not show up in this game or at least put up a fight, I don't want to hear anything about Super Bowl contenders at all. I don't want to hear anything about even becoming close to contending for the Super Bowl. So this is, in the last game, this is definitely going to be, Devontae Adams, Aaron Rodgers are out looking for revenge. They're out, definitely mad. And I'm going to take the Packers. Give me the Packers. I'm going to take the Packers in this one, 33-24.
So on the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field, Aaron Rodgers is near God, which makes me kind of wonder why the people in Vegas only have the Packers as a 1-point favorite. The folks out in Vegas, they usually know something that we mere mortals don't. Because for me, the line on this should be much larger. You have, as AJ pointed out, you have a Rams team that's trying to incorporate talent mid-season into a squad, and we saw how that worked out for him. Now, I love OBJ. I hate the fact that he felt that he had to leave Cleveland. The fact that he is back playing this year at all is a testament to his grit and his work ethic. It's phenomenal that he's actually playing ball this year after that knee injury that he had. So, but what we saw in his first game with the Rams is what we saw in Cleveland. Not completing a route resulting in an interception because his quarterback was anticipating him being in a particular spot at a particular time. And that's not the way OBJ plays. He's an artist. So, but I can't wrap my mind. I'm glad you caught that, Mr. Ellis. I can't wrap my mind around why the Packers are only favored by 1 point. But I'm gonna go against the chalk. I think I'm with AJ on this. I think that the Packers they have something to prove. Aaron Rodgers was livid, absolutely livid after that game, particularly since it was Greg Joseph, former Browns, who we got rid of because he can't kick, won the game for him. So Rodgers when he gets that glint in his eye, he's almost unbeatable. So I don't think this is going to be a close game. I don't think the Rams can play in the cold. I think Rodgers is gunning to hurt somebody. This is going to be a blowout. 35-10 Packers.
Whew. I'll open this up by saying that, there's nobody on the planet that's smarter than Aaron Rodgers, from what I'm told by Aaron Rodgers. So I'm never going to question his intelligence on anything ever, because without a doubt, he's the smartest man in any room that he walks into. But with that said, he's going to be fine either way, because he's walking into a room against a guy who's only won twice ever in his stadium, and that's Matt Stafford. And it's starting to get a little wee bits, as Clark Griswold would say, out there. So it's going to get colder, which means that Matt Stafford's going to slowly begin to break down to the point where, Sean McVay looks like he's always looked, a clown who found his way to a Super Bowl one time and never will again, because he's all about jazz and pizzazz. But let's be real, man. He's about as jazzy as Harry Connick, okay? He just doesn't have it, folks. Let's be real, okay? He can pretend to be from New Orleans. He can pretend to be playing jazz. He can pretend to be a great singer. But at the end of the day, he's just a bloke. And, boy, I never want to root for the smartest man in the room ever again. But I'll have to give him the victory in this one. And I got Green Bay getting it done 33-10.
And Mr. Ellis, that's why Harry Connick has to pay the Jazz Fest promoters to allow him to play on stage there, for his credibility.
If
I just
whispered your name.
So many things, I want to put on my Von Miller glasses just to go through this one here, but I can't see well enough with them. This is it. This is interesting. I just looked up. It's going to be a high of 37 on Sunday in Green Bay, which means with a wind chill, it could be down in the teens. And Matthew Stafford has a 3-7 record in Lambeau during his career. Now, granted, those games were all with the Lions, but still, 3-7 record, and he is not going to be happy to be going in there, and nobody is going to be happy to be going in there from LA. And so the Packer offense seems to be pretty in sync. I mean, they were dialed in last week. I mean, and all of you guys are right. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers. He might be the biggest knucklehead in the league, but on that team, he's the most important and the best knucklehead. And they're going to welcome him in with open arms because they need him. They're never going to win without him. And so he's going to go in, and he is, as Mr. Smith said, a god on the tundra, because it doesn't bother him. Flick of the wrist.
Science god, too.
Science god. He's brilliant. Put it in the form of a question, please. He just who flicks his wrist like nobody else? Aaron Rodgers. And so for me, this is the Rams. I mean, I think we did you guys a favor when we beat them in the Super Bowl. We'd be hearing Sean McVay's name like he is the next coming of whomever, So I don't see them. I understand that this could be an NFC championship game preview. If so, I hope we're the AFC team in the Super Bowl, because I don't see either of these teams being strong enough on both sides of the ball. But right now, if I have to pick one of them, and this could be the Rams could break out like they did the first 4 weeks of the season in this one, but it seems unlikely to me up in Lambeau. So for me, I'll take the cold weather team over the warm weather travelers any single day. Those guys will be purchasing jackets so they have something to wear when they get to Green Bay. All the tags will be hanging off them. So for me, I'll take the Pack 34-20.
Seems like we're all in agreement here. Go Pack, go. But yeah,
I'm
guys.
not rooting for him.
No.
Oh.
No,
okay.
I'll root for 12 sooner than I root for maybe no one ever.
Yeah, Rashad, we're not rooting for the Packers.
Hey, easy. It's just a game.
Easy. It's just a game. Easy.
What is a game?
You're right.
It's just a game, bro. Relax.
It is just a game, but I'm not rooting for Aaron Rodgers. This discount double check. I don't need it.
I mean, it's hard to root for people that are smarter than you, fellas. I would say, just hard.
Yeah,
it's hard.
You guys most definitely have a point. Yeah, it's kind of, after what happened, I agree with you guys 100%. But nonetheless, it's gonna be a great week. You know, Thanksgiving is coming up this week, and we have a really good slate of football games coming up. You know, the Thanksgiving games are always gonna be a good thing to watch. You know, with your family while eating, and then finishing it off Sunday night and Monday night with some really good games that we are in store for. Um, it's been a good week. Signing out, we had AJ, me, On God, Mr. Woodward, Mr. Ellis, and last but not least, Mr. Smith. Thank you for coming on to the show today. We really appreciate you coming on, taking the time, and talking football with us. We really do appreciate it. But that's been all, guys. Well, peace out.
Wait, guys, remember it's just a game. All
Just a
right.
game.
It's just the game, and Josh Allen's a
Pretender.
hey, 99 cents. It's CD Poe in Parma, Ohio, Mr. Smith. I
Nice.
pulled this gem out for you here. James Honeymoon Scott and Company.
Solid.
So, you know,
Solid. Solid.
Chrissy Hine, what a voice.
best.
Well,
You
thanks
guys
for
should look
having
it.
me
You guys should look it up sometime.
Nerds.